Let's do it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it. This is part 2 of a series that has yet to be named. We will work on the official title in a minute. But part 1, what did we talk about? We talked about basketball myths. We talked about old school versus new school approaches to training and coaching. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about what players should actually focus on to become the best player they can be.
Yep.
So today we're going to build off of that and continue the idea of what we feel like players should focus on to become the best player they can be, but through the lens of how that changes based on the age that you are, the grade you're in, and how that evolves through your journey. Yeah. So on that note, let's get into it. What do you think players should focus on starting out?
Okay. So like so we'll say the starting age is middle school, fourth, fifth grade. And what you need to work on at the beginning stages. We did say shooting. I still agree. You need to be able to, like, that's the first thing you should learn how to do is to shoot the ball. Like learn a clean stroke, right? Learn the fundamentals of shooting. I think that's definitely the main thing that people need to work on. And then the second thing is just dribbling, right? Being able to go full speed with the ball is not, and under control is not a skill a lot of, I'd say go up to third grader, fourth grade. Not a lot of kids have that skill to be able to under control, speed dribble with the ball. I think that's not something that you see at that young of an age. So you're already ahead of the curve. Or like the kids who look good at that young, they usually just they're fast, they're quick, and they don't lose the basketball.
Yeah, I would say I'm big on ball handling for the younger ages because I think it just teaches movement. It gets you introduced to different ways to move your body, different footwork that just builds that foundation, kind of like you alluded to. And then shooting for sure, I think it gets tricky in the U.S. generally. There's exceptions to it, but like we're so quick to get kids playing with a full-size basketball on a 10-foot rim, and it just fucks their self-organization, their technique, because they're worried about getting it super high. They're not even that strong. So then they compensate with different weird like mechanics and stuff. Agree. So I think that messes them up.
For sure. That's actually a great point. I didn't even think about that because I'm probably your prime example for this. I grew up until 6th grade. I shot on an 8-foot hoop, like with school ball. Like that was regulation. 8-foot hoop was our regulation hoop, and then we used 27.5. It's like the smallest basketball up until 6th grade. But after that, though, we went straight into men's ball. And then once we were in 7th grade, we had a full-size ball and 10-foot hoop. So I did have that experience of starting on a lower hoop so I can focus more on form. I've always been a big form guy anyway. Like even in the lifts, we'll get into that as well, right? Even when lifting, like I'm super big on correct form over anything. Like if I don't worry too much about if I'm pushing the heaviest weight I could possibly can. If it doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, then I'm not going to do it. So I've always been big on that. But yeah, I agree. So if you're going to shoot, that's the emphasis, right? Is shoot the right way and focus on that early on instead of just jacking the ball up. Yeah, around like 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah, and it just depends. Like I was a big body my whole life. So like, everyone progresses at different ages. Everyone has a different level of strength in 4th, 5th, 6th grade. So some guys might be able to shoot on the 10-foot, some others not. So it just it depends. It's one of my many gripes with youth sports. It kind of feeds into this idea that like, okay, I'm a parent or I'm a kid and I'm trying to have my kid go pro, or I'm trying to go pro as a player. So I need to do what the pros are doing right now when I'm in 4th grade. Instead of what they were doing when the pros were in 4th grade.
Yeah, when the pros were in 4th grade.
So that is things like a regulation ball, a 10-foot rim, or like sports specialization is a goddamn epidemic here. Like 4th grade, I'm just playing basketball. And then you develop overuse injuries when you're in 7th grade. You know, your knees are shot. That's my big thing.
No, I definitely agree. Some schools force you to play multiple sports. I do know that's a thing.
I like that.
Like, I was talking to one of my kids that on my Go Live team, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I have to play another sport." And
Nice.
I was like, "That's cool. I'm glad they're making you do that, but also I need you at practice tomorrow." So it's good and bad as a coach having them, but I definitely agree. Overall, I definitely agree with, you know, not getting too early into the specialization, but also at this age, like not at this age, in these times, you can't afford not to a lot of the times.
What do you mean?
Like, a lot of these kids do specialize early and they get ahead of the curve, right? And so if you want to compete, you have to also match that, at least to a degree, right?
That's the trap that everyone falls into, though, because you're right. Like, all of my classmates are doing private training on top of this club team, on top of this travel thing. So I need to do that just to keep up with them. So yeah, it's tough. And like, who am I to say? Neither of us are parents yet. So like, who knows? But it is tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. I think the earlier you can get started in any sport is good. You don't need to specialize. You can know what you want to do. I think that's fine. I think you should. If you, at least for basketball, just because that's the only sport I've really, you know, been involved in long term. If you want to be high level basketball, like understanding that you want to take it to the next level, maybe around fifth or sixth grade, knowing that is your main sport and that is your priority is not bad. I don't think that's an issue. You should still do more things outside of that. You don't need to do basketball 24/7. I think you should still work out, like be in the gym, I don't know, 3-4 days a week. And then all your free time can be whatever you need it to be, which is going to include, you know, good nutrition, good rest, doing your schoolwork, still important, right? If you're at that age. And then, you know, throw in some other sports. Like if you like playing football, like playing volleyball, you want to run track, something like that, do it. Go ahead, go for it. That you don't need to specialize at that age, but you can have an understanding that, oh, if I want to take this seriously, and also understand that that's part of your development, not, oh, I'm just blindly doing any and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
A donor sport. So like your secondary sport, like basketball is my main thing, but then I'm running track.
Yeah.
And then track becomes part of my basketball training in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. And then again, it just reiterates the point that like, these aren't things that are set in stone. Like if you're in 6th grade and you're not decided that hoops is your main thing, you're falling by, like everyone's journey is different. Some people might discover that when they're heading into high school. And I don't think it's really a right or wrong thing.
No, I definitely, I don't want to say guarantee because I can't guarantee you anything, right? But it more often than not, if you do want to have an edge, right, is basically what I was trying to say, right? If you want to have an edge in basketball, then that is one thing that you probably should do to get you that edge. Is what I was alluding to.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just so big on letting kids be kids. And there's this spectrum from general to specific. So like when a kid's just starting out, there is no telling what their ceiling is going to be.
Yeah.
They could grow 10 more inches. They could stop growing right now. They could develop some like crazy court vision, or they just don't have that in them, whatever. So to me, the younger you are, the more general you can be with on-court skills training, what you focus on. If I have a kid with me, I'm doing a little bit of everything because I don't know what he's going to become. You got to prepare him for everything. General also in terms of movement variety. I think that's the term. So like, I like ball handling because you're doing a bunch of like different shin angles and shifting your weight and stuff like that. playing other sports, movement variability. That's it. Movement variability, playing volleyball, playing tag at recess. It just develops all your muscles, your coordination, just like these general qualities of change in direction, of stuff like that prepare you. So then to me, as you go farther along the spectrum, it goes more towards the specific. And once you hit, I don't know, it kind of just depends who you are, what your trajectory is in terms of like how specific you get and when. Like some people, maybe sophomore, junior year of high school, you can kind of get a little more specific about what you're working on. Probably by then, basketball might be your main sport, depending on what it is. But then, like we talked about pros and stuff. Pros, if I'm in a session with them, we know where they're getting their shots, where the pass is coming from, what reads they're going through. So we're going to work on those three specific things. So I'm still trying to find that balance with those younger kids like you're talking about. To me, I lean more towards the end of the spectrum of letting them be kids and just trying a bunch of different stuff until maybe freshman year of high school would be a good time to just go to one sport. I don't know.
I see what you're saying there. The reason why I said that I think kids can prioritize, right? Like go into that understanding of, I'm going to do this sport early. Like I'm going to do this sport for the rest of my life early, but still understand that to be a well-rounded athlete or a well-rounded basketball player, you still want to be a well-rounded athlete, right? So I think that's necessary to be able to keep up. Now, I agree, kids should still be kids. They don't need to worry about a lot of stuff, but also at the same time, if they have high hopes and aspirations, like almost all these pro guys, very few of them, very select few, had the luxury of figuring out that they wanted to go pro or found, they can go pro in their sport later in life. They always had that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a good balance, what you're talking about, of like, I recognize basketball is what I enjoy doing the most, and that's going to be my main sport. But then also part of being a really good basketball player is being a good mover. So playing other sports or whatever that looks like. So I think that's a good balance you're talking about.
I think we're on the same page now.
Yeah. So how would you say AAU fits into this whole picture that we painted?
AAU is necessary, right? AAU can't be the only thing you do. There you go. All right, we're getting somewhere. So AAU can't be the only thing you do. You can't just practice one day a week. You got to find your way to get in the gym, consistently work on your game, grow your game, right? And you got to play games, and you got to play the game the right way. How you want to navigate AAU specifically, right, is the same way that, school coaches expect you to treat their programs, right? The traditional, yes, coach, no, sir, whatever it is. And, being locked in during practices, it's not like, don't get me wrong, it's supposed to be fun, but also it's still serious, right? Like, I think a lot of people take school ball more serious, and AAU is like their fun basketball. Is that valid? Is that valid to say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember I played like with a team other than my high school team in middle school, but then 15U. So summer going into my sophomore year was like AAU for real. And so I guess just people in my circle started referring to it as AAU that summer. So I began like reflecting on all the times of watching Thon Maker. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know Thon Maker.
That was like the Ball is Life mixtape, John Wall, Seventh Woods. And I thought that's what AAU was. I thought it was we just take turns having the keys, bang, 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 step back. I thought that's what it was going to be. And that's not what it was.
Yeah.
But to your point, there's levels to it. There's like Mocan, who runs that shit like a military.
Yeah.
And you see the fruits of that labor. Peach Jam every year, damn near.
Yeah.
And so then there's also the complete opposite of that, because there's no barrier to entry. There's no like backing foundation for teams to be accepted, coaches to be certified, and now they're a part of AAU.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor that is a retired, he worked at Home Depot, and now he just gardens all the time.
Yeah.
I could have him go start an AAU team, and then they could be playing at Center St. Louis and traveling the country. And then these kids get gassed up because, oh, I'm playing AAU.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's levels to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So
we're hitting these topics that I feel some type of way about today.
Yeah, no, dude, there's a lot to go. There's a lot to go through. Also, we're everywhere on the board because we have so many opinions on this shit too. Let's take a step back real quick. How do you even find the AAU team for you? I think that's a great place to start.
That's a good question.
To restart. Okay. If there's a team that doesn't practice and has a whole bunch of games scheduled, then yeah, that's not the place for you. You don't need to be there, right? Let's get that out of the way. Don't go to those teams. Okay. The next thing that you probably want to filter out is not necessarily how long the practice is, but what they do in practice is going to be important, right? Are they doing? Dang, it's hard to explain because. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
I'm not a huge fan of plays for AAU.
Yeah.
That's my hot take of the day. I think you're not with the kids enough. You've mentioned one practice a week for 3 to 5 games a weekend. I don't think you're with them enough 300 out of the 365 days out of the year, and you're not with them enough during AAU season.
Yeah.
To the point where it makes sense to
install plays like that.
Yeah. Now, again, if you're Mocan and you're trying to compete at the highest level, yes.
Yeah.
And they do. They have a dictionary length thick playbook. If you're, I don't know, someone else, and depending on the age again, it may make sense. I'm a big concepts guy.
Yeah.
Here are some concepts. Let's teach you how to make reads off a handoff, off a down screen, off a ball screen. And from there, we're letting the instincts take over. I think that can a lot of times be better for development.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's better, not just development, but overall, even at the highest level, I think that's way more important than being just a system player.
Yes.
Right? If you're purely a system player, then you're going to struggle long term. Your team might look good and be able to win at an early stage, but yeah, long term is definitely not really the thing.
It's all about what your goal is. If your goal is to win the 5th grade championship that nobody's going to care about in a year and a half.
Yeah.
If your goal is to do that.
Yeah. Dang. Even in a year and a half, not even like high school. Usually that's what I tell kids. It's like whenever they're too worried about that win or loss, I'll be like, dude, like in your high school season, when you're about to get recruited, they're not going to care about this shit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. Like no one is going to care.
It's not even in a year. Yep.
Take some cool pictures after whatever. So if that's your goal is to win the 5th grade championship, so to your point, what does a AAU practice look like when you're choosing a team? So if you're a family or a kid or whatever, and your goal is to win a 5th grade championship, then let's install a shit ton of plays. Let's make them be robots. Let's do some blobs. Let's do some slobs. Let's, coach the perfect technique or whatever, because we're trying to win the 5th grade championship.
Very rigid coaching. That's what you're looking for, right? Are they like super, super, super detail oriented? Well, not even detail oriented. Are they super fixated on one image? Right? Are they coaching scenarios or are they coaching the scenario? Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah. Like teaching them teaching them plays versus teaching them how to play. Because then if your goal is to develop really effective high school players that have the opportunity to go to college and pro and whatever ceiling they want to place on themselves, it's probably more concepts. It's probably teaching them instincts, feel for the game, making reads.
Reads. Yep.
Reads instead of robots.
Yep. Yeah. Reads is definitely the big part. Yeah. So if they're doing stuff that looks the same every single time, oh, there you go. That's what I want to go to. That's what you want to look for, right? Are they doing the same thing every single day? Then yeah, that's a red flag. You want to get out of there, right? They're running the same plays, and the play doesn't develop into something else, right? And the play is play 1, 2, and 3, and 1 this happens, 2 this happens, 3 it happens, and it's the same every single time. Then you want to run away from that, right? Is it the same drill every single week? You want to go away from that. Yeah.
And that's a good, not a segue, but a good point that builds off of a point you made earlier about like, because sometimes players won't be in the position to sit and watch a practice, like, because usually tryouts come before practice.
Yep.
So sometimes they might just have to jump in blindly and hope that it all works out.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to your point of you're doing yourself a disservice if AAU is your only tool to get better, if you're not putting in work outside of that.
Definitely.
Do you think there is an age where, like for me, if I had a kid, my ideal time for him to start playing AAU would be 15U. So summer going into his sophomore year of high school. What do you think about that?
I think that's super late. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude.
Hella late.
Yeah, no, so like I said, you can't afford to wait so long. So then how are they getting, how are they getting, I think you can do that and pull it off, don't get me wrong, but how are they finding their reps, right? Like in-game reps. Where are they getting there you go, that's my question. Where are they getting their in-game reps from?
So that's a good question. I guess that answer is dependent upon if they can get those reps elsewhere. My main thing is I would rather them play a shit ton of 3-on-3, 2v2, 1v1, as opposed to a watered down 5-on-5 full court that ends up being your turn, my turn type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think if those are your only options, then yeah. But there's great AAU teams out there.
That's a very good and important distinction to make. There is good AAU being played.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear. I feel like I've talked a bunch of trash.
No, I agree. I talked the exact same trash on this episode, right? And like I'm not going to talk too much trash because that's not really. I don't really want to do all that. But I will talk the good stuff, right? Like Phenom. Like don't get me wrong, we install a lot of plays. There's a fat list of plays that we go through at Phenom, but ultimately, like every coach is very reads oriented. But yeah, so there are programs out there that do that, right? So when there are programs like that, and Phenom is like the highest level, right? For especially like specifically for girls, it's the highest level in St. Louis specifically. If you don't make it on that team, are you cooked? No, there's still other teams like that. And so while there are still other teams like that, like sure, sorting out the bullshit is gonna be hard. I think there's too much value. I still think there's too much value in AAU to not be in it until 15. That's what I think. Long-winded way to answer that question, but
yeah, it definitely is late compared to what everyone else is doing. And again, it would just depend. It would depend on what that kid needs. Like, because some kids really need to develop a feel for the game. They got all the footwork and stuff, but they need those game reps.
Yeah.
Maybe they're super good at 3v3, but then when there's refs in the environment of a game, they kind of fold. So they need reps with that. Yeah. I think that's a good distinction as well. Now, so all of this starting from day one, 4th, 5th grade, what do we work on? When do we work on it? How does AAU play into it? How do we get the most out of our development to become the best player we can be? Can sometimes and a lot of times be in the pursuit of, again, depending on the player, aspirations to play in college, pro, beyond that. So if we are looking at it through the lens of playing in college, what do you feel like is important to, I guess, maybe work on, but more so, what do you think college coaches are looking for in players?
The easiest one, right? The first thing that they're going to look at before they even consider deepening or entertaining a conversation is one, you will go through the eye test. No matter how skilled you are, you can be the most skilled person. You're 5'2", the conversation's already a lot harder, right? So are you athletic? Or like what's the build, right? That's super important. I think that's so early on, like as early as you can work on your body, like you want to work on your body. I think that's the first thing before, like, so we get that out of the way before anything. They're going to run you through the eye test. But basketball skill wise, they're definitely looking, can you shoot the ball, right? Are you making right reads, right? Are you playing the game the correct way, so to speak? The correct way is, simple, straight to the punch. And you're making good reads, right? That's the basketball thing that they're really looking at. If you are those, 1% basketball players in general, where you can, go ISO and go off and, get whatever basket that you want, or get whatever bucket you want, then cool, that's good for you. That's probably something that's going to be that gets you looked at. But generally speaking, basketball skill wise, can you shoot? Are you making the right plays? Are you turning the ball over frequently? Those are the 3 things. Those 3 things are the main things our coach is going to look at. And then, basketball skill wise again, because the main thing that they really want to know is, how are you going to act?
Yes, that is where I was going to go with it as well, because I think you hit the nail on the head. There's the eye test, frame. It's easy to look at potential. Oh, once we get him with our strength and conditioning guy, once we get him with our skills guy, it's going to be easy money. So the eye test, the potential. University of Houston is real big on getting guys with big wingspans. So stuff like that. So eye test for sure.
I didn't know they had a criteria, like a real criteria.
Yeah. Hand size as well. But yeah, eye test can honestly a lot of times determine what level you go to. I found that playing D3 is filled with guys who are really skilled, but they just aren't like wowing you with height or athleticism or something like that. So hit the nail on the head, the physical attributes. Shooting is a big one. Today's game, got to be able to do it. I think defending is a big one.
Defense,
Being able to guard, you have to be able to guard. If you, especially in these days of analytics, they're looking at everything. So, okay, cool, you dropped 20, but if you're responsible for 30 points given up on the other end, it's a net negative. So eye test, shooting, defense. But then, that's where I was going to go with it. Is it's the character. I had shout out to Kennedy, UHSP assistant coach. Had him on 2 episodes ago. And he was saying just that. He was like, I can look at you on film. I know ball. Like, it's pretty easy. Can you run? Can you jump? Can you shoot? Can you how does that fit into our system? Okay, cool. That's kind of the easy part. It's more so about, how are you conducting yourself on campus? Are you doing stuff you shouldn't do? Are you a good person? I found it to be recruiting and stuff. Found it to sort of be more like dating than anything else sometimes.
That's a good point. Dating. Dating for marriage specifically. Like whenever you run into people who are like, oh, I'm dating to marry, and they're actually serious about dating to marry. Yeah, that's how recruitment works. So you have a piss poor attitude and you want to talk back to refs, your coach, but more importantly, probably your teammate, right? like how you deal with your teammate interactions. I think that weighs more than the other two, probably, because you can talk to it depends on how you talk to the ref. You can't be talking to them crazy, but I think that how do you interact with people is super, super important, I think, and how you treat the game. Well, how you treat them in the game, right, is going to be super important. I think that's going to be something that can put you over the top in, getting picked over the same player with the same attributes, or not get picked. I'm going to see if this will catch on. 3 ends of the court, which sounds stupid when I first say it right now, but right, playing both ends of the floor is very simple term, right? You play offense, you play defense, right? Are you a two-way player? You play both ends of the floor, but also playing off the floor as well. How do you play off the floor? How are you on the bench? Right, that's super big, and that goes into what I said was more important to coaches. How do you interact with people? How are you listing your teammates? How are you communicating with your teammates from off the floor? How are you communicating with them on the floor? Oh, I got you a screen. Oh, come this way, come to the left. If you're on defense, oh, send him my way, bring him left, or screen right. I'm in help, like whatever that is, right? Like having that player is way better than having the player who's just in it for himself, and maybe he's not even in it for himself, but just quiet and just doesn't help the rest of the team as much. Like that's a huge factor, right? Like, so if you have those 3 things, both player has those 3 things, right? Can shoot, good build, plays defense, right? But the other one has communication. Now all of these were enhanced and above. So that's the super important attribute that you want as a basketball player is communication, but like being involved with your team, constantly being involved with your team to the fullest level, right?
Yeah, being a good human. I was having a conversation with a college coach a while back, and we were talking about a super high level player, and he was saying, "Yeah, I wish he smiled more." I was like, "Damn, that's a gem that you just dropped, coach." Because that's real. Like, we know you got the We know you got that.
Yep.
If you don't got that, we see the potential. Once you get with our guys, our training staff, we know we can get you that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be spending
the full year, the whole season,
summer, preseason, season, like you're on campus.
Yep.
I'm going to be seeing you a lot. So I have to enjoy your company.
Most definitely. Potentially for 4 years, right? Depending on the school, division, whatever it is. But yeah, like you want to get in a four-year commitment with this person? I mean, like that's super big. That's super big. So yeah, so before any player really worries about, okay, I got to add the turnaround to my bag, like, no, like dap up your teammate.
Now, if you're a sorry hooper,
oh no,
you can dap everyone up if you want to, but you got to develop something. Yeah, but okay. That's a great point you just made, though.
Not if you're sorry. If you're sorry, hit me up on Prospects Arena. Right, I'm available on a lot of Fridays right now.
Hashtag growth mindset, though. No one's permanently sorry. Everyone can get better.
Nah, for sure. I agree. Some more than others. There's some bad basketball players out there, man.
So that was it, man. That was how we started out talking about the start of the journey, what we should focus on, how AAU plays into that, and how you can set yourself up for a good opportunity to play college, play pro. Beyond that. These are just tools at the end of the day. We're just two people talking into microphones. Been around the block a couple times, but we don't know everything. So experiment, find out what works for you, and stay tuned for episode number 3. Peace.